We're back with David Letterman. Let me ask you here about...
Well, let me ask you, when is this show on? This seems like a pretty good thing.
It's on right after your program tonight, Dave. It's on right now, pal.
Hey, slick. Tom, how is it? I know for a fact you're twice my age, and you look 100% better than I do. How does that happen?
Makeup.
How the hell does that happen?
Makeup, lighting, and attitude, kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, where does the vodka figure into that?
It doesn't. If it figured into it that much, I wouldn't look nearly this well, my friend. Let me ask you here about imitation in late-night television. Certainly, Johnny Carson probably borrowed elements of Jonathan Winters to do kind, old, lovable Aunt Blabby. Certainly, David Letterman has borrowed and updated things that Steve Allen did back in the early days of television. Steve Allen gave out salamis. David Letterman gives out canned hams. I noticed that The Tonight Show now has a host and a band leader who banter back and forth, who go out on location and do things together, and this has been written about in the press. And do you ever think, as you hear of these escapades on the part of your competition, Mr. Leno, that imitation is the sincerest form of thievery?
No.
Do you mind if people steal from you?
First of all, first-hand experience, I don't know that to be true, so I can't comment directly about that. I can speak to our situation. If you cite something that I have done on this show, or something on the old NBC show, or something on the early morning show, I can show you the source material for that. So that just seems to be the nature of, and forgive me for using this phrase, the creative process. We try to take glimmers of ideas or full-blown ideas and change them, and usually what happens, as you know, in any endeavor like this, you start out by imitating something you know, and then you work that way, and through that process you eventually achieve your own voice. And it's nothing mystical. I didn't mean to make it sound that way.
How much of what you do on The Late Show would have been The Tonight Show starring David Letterman at NBC?
This is the show. This would have been the show, without question. We always felt the big disappointment for me regarding not getting that job was that we felt like we had done a show for 10 years at NBC, and as a production unit, we were ready to go.
Absolutely.
We wanted to move to Burbank. That would have been great. You know, Johnny was gone, and that would have been a huge pressure to follow Johnny. But we felt like we were, I don't know about a comparison to Carson. I don't know if anybody's up to that task, but we felt like we were up to the task and responsibility of producing a really nice, good show for 11:30.
As you have well demonstrated now for coming up on 2 years, and you and your people, and I don't mean for this to be self-serving because I work for your company, but you ought to be commended for this.
Well, God bless you, Tom.
Let me ask you here about what you think is the legacy, the continuing legacy, if in fact there is any of it left, for Johnny Carson's reinvention of late-night television, because you and Jay have taken it a totally different way from Carson's gentle art of conversation and mimicry.
Yeah, well, I think that in some way that's too bad, because I watch shows like yours and other shows, but they're dwindling, and you realize how entertaining the simple form of reasonable conversation can be. And I realize that we probably just beat that notion to death. And when we were in London, we had Peter O'Toole on Wednesday night.
I saw him.
And every now and then we'll have guests here on this show where you kind of get a sense of, yeah, this used to be the way it was, and my God, there was really nothing very wrong with this at all, was there? Sometimes part of the problem is, well, I don't know if it's a problem at all. We've just changed things, and you know, you feel like you've got to, you know, spinning discs of color to keep people entertained.
Dave, television's changing. It's changing, but we tend to think of ourselves here as one of the last bastions of that time when late-night television was conversation. And
and you're very smart to have done it, because I've watched your career, as I've told you many, many times.
Well, don't tell me again, then.
I saw you on the first Tomorrow show, and watched darn near every one of those programs, and you're smart to continue doing what you're doing, because, like I say, it's the numbers are thinning, and so to see it done as gracefully and as artfully as you do it, it's very satisfying.
Thank you. Why do you like to drive so fast?
Oh, stop it. Gee, don't make me come out there and slap you silly. What the hell? I don't
No,
drive.
seriously, why?
Don't. Oh, you've never received a speeding ticket in your life?
I haven't had a speeding ticket since I was 17 years old.
Oh, please.
But seriously, what is it about you? What is the thrill with speed? And I know you love cars, and I know you're probably going to go to the Indianapolis 500 race this weekend. Well, what is it?
I will not be going to the Indianapolis 500 this weekend, but I'm very, very excited. I will now, Tom, do for you something wonderful. I will tell you the winner of this year's greatest spectacle in speed.
In auto racing.
Yeah. Bobby Rahal will win the 79th edition of the Indianapolis 500. And what was the other question? Oh, no, I don't speed. I got some tickets once, years ago.
I know. The officers had faulty radar guns, and I'm down to time here.
No, no, no. I lost my license, and now I obey all posted speed limits.
Good. David, thank you so much for your time tonight, and thank you for letting us play.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Have you got somebody else coming on?
No, this is it. No, it's 1:30 in the morning, Dave. It's time to close up shop here.
Yeah, well, maybe it's time for you, Tom, but I'm just getting warmed up. I'm going to tell you something, buddy. I own that show. We ain't going anywhere. You understand? What do you got coming up next? Like a half-hour infomercial with Cher about makeup? No, no. We're staying on.
Say goodnight, David.
Good night, Tom. Thank you.
And good night for NBC News. My thanks to David Letterman.
You said it again, Tom.
My thanks to David Letterman for being with us tonight from the Ed Sullivan Theater. Again, David, thank you and good night.
You said NBC.
Oh, did I really?
Yeah.
Well, no, see, remember Chet Huntley and David Brinkley? Good night, Chet. Good night, David. And good night for NBC News.
Oh, that's a good one, Tom.
Okay. Get off of him and get off of me. We'll be right back after these messages.